Everybody, welcome back. I want to thank you for I think there was over 350 views on that introductory video for Wide Awake Productions. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're following. And this is the first episode of Deep Thoughts. And what Deep Thoughts is about, as far as video series goes, is really about getting you some solid education and to kind of make you go, that's kind of interesting. So that's what that's all about, or that's what this series is all about, sorry. And I want to let you know that this is these videos are all for adults. They're not for kids, okay? This is the adult world. We're dealing in the big leagues. Kids get a chance to just be kids. And that's a much more healthier way of kind of looking at things. I want to also mention that the other reason why is because sometimes I will be using flowery metaphors, and this particular video happens to have one flowery metaphor in it. And it's the reason why I use flowery metaphors. Well, I use them always in context. Like I'm trying to justify it. But what I mean by that is, for some strange reason, you know, poopy pants just doesn't do it for when people are in some major situations. You can't use a word like that when you need a power word, like a flowery metaphor, to help discharge the energy and also to keep your sense of reality. If you can't discharge the level of energy of where you're at in a word that will help you negotiate it with your emotional vocabulary, you can't keep your deep sensory perception of the reality of the situation that you're in. So it'll be really hard for you to be able to negotiate through that. So I want you to make sure that you watch the video when you're not going to get interrupted. And I know I'm outgunned a little bit in regards to your time, because there's tons of forces that are pulling us 100 different directions, and that's just outside sources, not to include the internal sources. Anxiety, burnout, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. So I want to just really make sure that you understand that this channel is for you and that you are important enough to spend some time. There'll always be crap out there that's trying to knock at your door, and there'll always be stuff put on your plate, but you need to give yourself your time. You are worth it, and you need to book it out. So if you can watch these videos either in the morning, if you want to use them as a devotion once a week, that's kind of funky, or later on at night, that would be stellar. I'm going to set you up in these videos, just like I do for people in the courses. I'll set you up in a variety of different ways without you knowing that. The reason for that is I'm categoried as an emotional educator, and I need you to intuitively pick up information, because 95% of the information that you have already picked up in life, 95% of it, you've picked up by osmosis. In other words, you just absorbed it from the environment. So I'm going to try to give you resources that will get a chance to actually percolate in your subconscious, so your subconscious can stop using the toxic, probably programming system that's been operating out of to negotiate and navigate through life with. I get this all the time when people say, well, Leon, instead of doing your courses over a 10-week or 8-week period, why don't you just do them over a weekend? Well, I could set it up like a workshop idea, but what's important to me is that people actually absorb the information. It takes a while for the body to do that. So listen, if you're out there and you've had kind of a strange background or a bizarre background, or whatever story you happen to have in your past, that's happened over a big chunk of time. So if I just give you, quick little videos and stuff like that, which I hope to do here for you, you're not going to retain the information. So I'm going to be sneaky a bit. I'm going to give you information without you realizing I'm actually giving you information, so your subconscious can actually reboot up itself. I'm actually going to include little, what's the word I'm looking for, assignments, I guess. And I would really like you to do the assignments, and that's kind of why it's important that you spend some time where no one's going to interrupt you to do the assignment. And I would like you to do it over the course of the week, if you can, once a day. And they're usually fairly fast assignments, but that will help you retain the information that I'd like to give you, okay? So on the side note, I want to thank a variety of people from around North America who've decided to join us. And I would list you guys all, but I can't list you all. I want to encourage you to keep sending your questions in to me. Now, I mentioned that I already had up some questions, and the reason why I've done it that way is so that it gives you guys time to shoot me some questions so I can answer those as well. So I intend to do deep thoughts in a specific way, and it'll evolve a little bit as I move through it and stuff. But I want you to really understand it's for you, and I know not everyone's going to be ready for this, and I know that there's people out there, you guys. I know some of you out there, and I know some of you are struggling with some pretty tough stuff right now, and you're negotiating some stuff, and some of it's present situations that you're trying to walk through, and other things are from the past that you're negotiating. And I want to just make sure that you have much grace, much patience, much gentleness. There's nothing to be afraid of. I know that doesn't feel very affirming when you're in the miry muck of some of these situations that you guys are wrestling with, but no one has ever died from an awkward emotions. Like you never heard once, 110 people wiped out this weekend because of awkward emotions. Unfortunately, some people have taken their lives by misinterpreting what their awkward emotions are trying to help them, assist them with. You have a whole history of emotional existence that has been trying to tell you something about yourself. But because it usually appears in our body as awkward, we don't know how to negotiate and navigate it. So I'm trying to keep the video short for you, so I don't want to go too much into that. What I'd like to talk to you today about is what's called worth. And the reason why I want to talk to you about worth is I think it's the number one thing that we're missing, is a deep kinesthetic, solid sense of worth. Not that thinking I should have worth, because if you said to you, well, are you lovable? Well, yeah, I'm lovable. Yeah, well, do you feel lovable? No. Did you feel worth about yourself? Oh, do you know you have worth? Oh yeah, I know I have worth. Do you feel worth about yourself? No. I think most of the time we get stuck in whatever our head processes is when we're trying to negotiate things, but it's usually attached to awkward feelings and awkward emotions that are usually hijacked by the situation that we're actually trying to unmuck ourselves from. And this is a very important point, okay? Before you try to negotiate and navigate anything in regards to your own personal journey, the number one rule is you have great worth. Now, whether you feel it at this time or not because of the situation you're in does not change the value of your worth. And I think I mentioned in that first video is I lost my sense of worth, not my worth about myself, but my sense that I had worth about myself, because a lot of stuff that I went through in life was pretty brutal stuff. And it was very confusing for me, so I got fused with the confused feelings of the experiences I've gone through in those crises, and then it just went from one crisis to the next crisis to the next crisis, which had two little buddies that packed on to that, which was low chronic anxiety and low chronic heaviness. So my life just became anxious and depressive. I didn't even know it was anxious and depressive. All I know was I was here inside this little body trying to negotiate through life, trying to figure out things. So I'm going to show you a picture of something right now, which you probably see at this time, and I want you to really take a peek at that, what you're looking at. Because I find that most people don't ask themselves the right question, and what I mean by that is start at the beginning. This is where you started off at, right here. This poor little child that has now been brought into the world. You are dependent as this little child. And hopefully you were born in a family that had your best interest, which I'm assuming, and I think it's pretty safe to assume that because of what we are all born into, including our parents and our grandparents, they were probably outgunned as much as we're outgunned. And so when you look at this child here that I'm showing you, that's the starting point. And remember, I've mentioned before that nothing builds on a vacuum. Everything builds on what comes before. So when you look at this little child, and then you'll notice at the beginning of this video, There's a variety of different developmental stages that I show. And each of those developmental stages, we either picked up what we needed, or we were left with a deficit, moved to the next stage in life, but the sense of ourselves has already been split. So I kind of share this idea with the classes, and that's called the gold coin idea. And the gold coin is, listen, if I had a gold coin, and the gold coin was worth $20,000, and I took you out to my acreage outside here, and I took you over to where the horses are, I took you where the big heaps of horse manure is, and I put that gold coin into that big pile of horse dung, and then asked you the question, does that coin, that gold coin, lose its value? And the answer to that, most people would say, well, no, no. And I said, well, what about all the shit that it's in? Well, yeah, but that's not the gold coin. Well, then if I posed the question to you next, which was, would you go and get that gold coin? It's worth $20,000. Would you go get it? I don't think anybody would say, no, I wouldn't go get it. Matter of fact, everyone says the same thing. Yeah, I'd go get that, Leon. Yeah, but what about all that dung that it's in? Well, I just cleared out of the way with a stick or something like that till I could go and get it. I said, well, now that you got it, what are you going to do with the stench of it? The stench of all that shit that's now attached to that coin. Well, I just wash it off. Now, listen, I'm asking you guys to start a journey, and it's not going to be an easy journey because you're afraid. You're afraid that the sense that you carry from all the shit that has been stuck to you and impacted you, and you've been in, and these crises, it's pretty hard to shake that off and not buy that that's your sense of worth. It's not your sense of worth. Your worth is a much deeper solidness of yourself, a solid capacity about yourself. And as these videos unfold, I will kind of assist you down the road with getting a deeper understanding, but I need to start at what's called low resolutional style of thinking. And there's a term called metacognition. And metacognition is the capacity to be able to think about what you're thinking about as you think it, instead of just thinking. Okay? Now, I'll talk about all this down the road, but I have to do some groundwork with you guys, so that subconsciously these doors start opening up, so when I start depositing information into you, you will be able to retain it, and those puzzle pieces will start getting together. So when I'm talking about your sense of worth, the key part about that is, listen, I know most of you don't have had a pretty brutal existence, or at least a sense about yourself. And I know that that sense of worth is not freely available at this time for some of you it is. But we need to learn how to go into the garbage, and we also need to know how to wash off the garbage off our sense of self. It's kind of like I deal a lot with addictions, and we have a different, or at least I have a different concept when it comes to recovery. We don't use the word, or at least I don't like using the word recovery all the time, because you don't keep recovering something once you have it. You keep recovering. Well, what are you recovering from? Well, I don't think it's about recovering as much as more about being curious about your life and understand the mystery of what happened to you. That's from a different angle. That's an ownership angle. Recovering means I have to keep going to get out this, I have to get something out here. I don't need to get anything out here. What I need to do is find out, am I solid enough to handle and negotiate life when crisis hits? Some of you have heard me say this. I think God in life is interested in one thing, and that is to help me and you understand who am I and you when everything is stripped away. Because when everything is stripped away and I experience those situations, I really know me. And I get all these resources that come back to my emotions and my feelings and my thinking and my conscious availability to negotiate with myself when duress and stress hits my life. And you know, you're gonna get probably a good 5 smacks in life, and those 5 smacks in life, hopefully you'll be out of them before the next one hits, because you'll get dazed and confused, and all that crap will stick to you during those crises. And if you don't realize that you have a solid sense of worth just because of what you are, remember, you used to be that little baby. You used to be that little lovable package there. On Championing Your Wounds, I bring in infants if I can, or babies if I can, infants and toddlers. And I tell the parents, don't police them, just let them go crazy. Let them go do whatever they do as infants, or babies, infants, and toddlers. And there's a reason I do that, which is to see whether or not people got their needs met at that level. Because if a person does not know how to negotiate and navigate that as an adult, that's usually giving you your first signs up that, or heads up that your own basic needs weren't met back then. But so I'll get to the baby and I'll hold up a little baby like this to the class and I'll say, does this baby have worth? And people will say, well, yeah. And then it goes back to the question, well, why does this baby have worth? Cricket, 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 cricket. I said, come on, you guys, why does this baby have worth? Crickets, crickets, crickets. So, well, does the baby have worth because it has the latest in fashion wear? Does the baby have worth because it has the best job? Does the baby have worth because it has a beautiful home? Does the baby have worth because it's the most popular baby in the nursery? Well, no, the baby doesn't have worth for any of those reasons. The baby has worth because it just is. And that's the key part. Worth is about being who you are. And it's pretty hard to have a sense of being if you were never welcomed into this one and only world that we were brought into to be the one and only person that you are. And so what ends up happening to that is you adapt. And as soon as you adapt, in other words, if I can't trust you with my truth, which I'll talk about in another video coming up here pretty quick, then I have to adapt myself and show you a different Leon instead of knowing it's okay just to be Leon. And if I can't just be Leon around you, then I have to change as I worry about what I might say. And there's a whole bunch of implications that happens with that. So when you start this whole process, whether you get that you have worth or not, that's okay. The key part is you do have great, great worth. Now you might not feel it, but I know there's some pretty good people around you that totally love you. And they might not be able to show you the love they need for you because they're at a deficit as well, but it doesn't mean that you don't have worth. So that's the key part for this video. I want to get you to do an assignment here, so I'm going to let you listen to a video, and I would like you to listen to it twice. Okay? And you heard me say in the first video the whole idea about, we're not here to fix anybody. Now the specific video I'm going to get you to watch is a music video by Coldplay, and it's called Fix You. Now, the reason why I chose that kind of sounds contrary to the reason why I said in the very first introduction video about we're not here to fix anybody, is when you hear the lyrics, and again, I want you to watch the video twice. And I would like you to hear the lyrics, but when you hear the lyrics, I want you to, instead of think of fix you, in other words, somebody outside of yourself. And when Coldplay did that, the reason why it became such a successful song was it touched a chord in us about empathy and compassion towards people that are closest to us, that we really care and love about. And that I will fix you, I will be there for you. Now, that's not the best way of doing it. The key part is to fix myself. And that way I can be there for you. I don't have to fix you. You don't need me to fix you. You just need someone to be there with you. And so when you hear the lyrics, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to feel it, the atmosphere of the song, and I want you to say the words to the song back into you, that you are going to fix you. Now I know you might not feel capable about doing that at this time. It's not about you being capable about doing that this time. What we're doing is actually going to tell our bodies, hey, I get it, it's tough for you right now, but I am here. That's my conscious availability. The adult Leon, the one who's present that you're watching right now, is going to tell the history Leon, the history of the imprint of what I feel inside myself, the insecurity, the fear, the isolation, the loneliness. I'm here for you, and I'm going to fix you. I'm here for you. I'm going to fix you. That's called anchoring yourself. And the funny thing about the brain is you get the chance to program your brain. You're not your brain. You're your conscious availability. So hopefully you understand what I mean by that, and I'll expand on that in a little bit after you're done watching the video. Okay, so here you go.
When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you feel so tired but you can't sleep. Stuck in rivers, and the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. High up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know just what you were. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Tears stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. Tears stream down your face, tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from your mistakes. Tears stream down your face, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Okay, so hopefully you did that and you felt that song. The nice thing about music, and they've done lots and lots of studies on music and how it actually resonates right down into the core sense of our being. Worship music can be like that. Depending on how you're wired, any style of music, country music, any style of music can all of a sudden just touch you. Just touches that chord of your sense of self. And I need you to feel sorrowfulness a little bit. You can handle it. And I want you to feel it so that your body has it as a reference point to go to negotiate and navigate. And I'll expand on that when I talk about feelings and emotions down the road a little bit here. So this is what your assignment is. I let you watch that Coldplay video. What I'd like you to do is what you're going to have now as a resource for you personally. You can watch it as many times as you want. I'd like you to watch it at least once a day until the next video comes up. I want you to sing the song with the lyrics. That's why it's important that you don't get interrupted. And hopefully no one's home in case you're a terrible singer like me. Well, I'm not that bad, but I'm not that good either. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to listen to that song, and I want you to sing along with it, and I want you to do it once a day. And if you can do it at nighttime, that's the best time to do it. Why? Because when you wake up in the morning, you'll have the song in your head. And what it turns out to do, and the neat thing about music is that because it goes to such a deep level to our sense of our fiber, of our molecular structures in our body, is we retain it. So you'll catch yourself humming it, or you'll catch the song about I will fix you. So throughout the day you'll feel this, I will fix you, I will fix you, I will fix you. Now, I know some of my Christian friends are out there saying, well, shouldn't God fix you? Listen, I get this all the time, and I think it's a terrible thing in regards to how Christians view God. God loves you to death on the cross. There's not much more he can do about the whole thing. And if he loves you to death, what do you think he wants you to feel about yourself? Your worth about yourself. And what do we do as Christians? We keep pushing that worth out. It's only about him. He doesn't want you to do that. He wants you to feel the worth for yourself. I don't know any parent that would have a little toddler down below you. And remember, a toddler has a capacity to feel up to 25 feet away in a circle around themselves. And as you admire your little toddler down here, and he's such a cutie or she's such a cutie patootie, and they feel your cutie patootiness of your adorability all of a sudden hit their body, and they turn around and look up at you, they don't go, no daddy, no mommy, just you. You should be adored. You should be the... That's ridiculous. You have great worth. You have to assist your body to open that up and feel that worth. God probably just shakes his head like crazy going, I wish you kids would stop doing that. So if you're from a certain faith ideology that keeps making you fractured in its bad theology, you better check that out. Watch the video. Okay, watch the videos, sing the song, sing it a couple of times in 1 week. It's pretty easy lyrics. You should have that song down pat, so you'll own it and you'll carry it. You don't have to watch the screen. You'll carry it with you through the day. I'm going to fix me. I'm important enough. I got something about me. I might not feel it right now, but I'm going to fix me. And some of you who have been going through some crisis right now, you're going to cry when you hear this song. But that's okay, especially if you're in the middle of the sorrow of it. You sing those lyrics. You sing those lyrics, right? If you're sobbing, you know, some of you aren't going to be doing that, but I know there's going to be people here who are watching. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be sobbing when you hear those lyrics. You sing that through with those lyrics to that song. I'm going to fix you. I'm here for you. I can do this. We can negotiate this. I'm going to navigate this. When I use the word we, what I'm saying is to the history of my body. I'm not going to be able to get through this. You can get through this. I know it's tough. I've been through some brutal stuff, and I'll share that as this channel continues. So if I can, you can. Well, Leon, you're you. Yeah, you're you. And we're both morons, and we're both idiots, and we've both done stupid things that have complicated our lives. We're all insecure. That's what a human being is. Cut yourself some slack. I'm sorry, you guys. Life is brutally stellar, but you have great worth. Okay? So till next time I see you, be gentle, patient, and gracious. and we'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourself, you guys. See ya.